Well, good morning, Moses Lake Christian Church. I hope that you're doing well. We're going to transition into our time of offering and communion. And one of the big questions that I had as we made the move to online church was, how was giving going to work? Because we were still pretty committed to bringing the check thing once a month. And part of that is just because it's what I'm used to doing, but also it's because I'm a little skeptical of things that involve money and online. There's the whole Nigerian prince thing. That didn't turn out so well now, did it? All joking aside, one of the ways that God has met me personally and challenged me personally in over 20 years of walking with Him and is when it comes to finances. And there have been times in our nearly 20 years of marriage where it's been really tight and we weren't real sure how we were going to make ends meet. For instance, when we went from two incomes to one income, and surprise, here's another baby for you. But in the midst of all of that, God was faithful and generous to us. And we didn't have a lot, but we had enough. And so I want to encourage you to step out in faith and continue to contribute to the ongoing ministry of Moses Lake Christian Church. And you can do that by going to the website that I think Sharon will probably put maybe right about here, or maybe it'll be above my head. I don't know. It's the magic of technology. But we do serve a generous God who is faithful, and He's able to do amazing things. And so I just want to encourage you to step out in faith and continue to contribute. And you can do that by contributing through the church website. So I recently started reading Exodus, and I got to the point where the plagues had happened, and Pharaoh is like, I've had it with you guys. You got to get out of here. You go worship the Lord, take everything, go worship the Lord out in the desert, but you cannot stay in Egypt anymore. You got to get out of here. And on their way out, the Lord has this conversation with Moses. And one of the things that He tells Moses is, I want you to have a celebration. I want you to have this week where you're eating nothing but unleavened bread. Nothing else. But then on the seventh day, I want you to have a feast. I want you to have a feast to the Lord. And in verse 8, He tells Moses, you shall tell your son on that day, it is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. This feast is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. And that got me wondering what it would have been like to have been a dad at that time, to actually come out of Egypt and to stop and have this feast and to stop and say, we're doing this because of what the Lord did when we came out of Egypt. I wonder if the conversations that the people back then had, I wonder if they ended there. We're doing this because of what the Lord did for us when we came out of Egypt. Let's eat. Or did the conversations go further than that? It got me wondering about how this time each week we come to the table and we break the bread and we take the cup, and we do that to remember Christ on the cross. But is there an opportunity for us to talk about where our story intersects with the cross? Where we can go further with our own personal stories during this time of communion and move beyond just remembering Christ on the cross. Let's drink, let's eat. Or can we go even more personal than that, where we can share our Exodus story of This is what it was like for me before Christ. And now he's brought me into this new life. In just a minute, I'm going to finish. And you're going to have a chance to break bread and drink the wine. And I would encourage you at some point, maybe it's not now, maybe you need some time to think about how to do this, but at some point in the next week, take some time to celebrate your own Exodus story. This is what God brought me out of. This is the bondage that I was in. Take some time to celebrate not just that history, but what is he bringing you through now? How is he leading you through this desert experience that we call life?